Peace, people. How y'all be? How y'all be? Happy Tuesday. Happy new day. What is going on today? We are talking about reminiscent, right? And actually, I had a reminisce. I need to pull up reminiscent. How you doing over there?
I'm doing great. It's a really good day. The sun is shining. Facebook back working again.
Currently, we able to go live over here. Able to get it in.
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, so to
It's
get
good to
right
be
into
back.
it, man, like even that Facebook, I was just saying, like, okay, I just remember when it's happened before. And I think it was crazy because even when it happened before, the communication was working the same. Where it was first Facebook and then Instagram was kind of working, halfway not working, and then working, and then they were out. So again, I'm thankful for other forms of communication to still get messages and words across to people and to get spread the good juju. So I'm so thankful for that. Like we still gonna connect. We still gonna be out here. Whether it's YouTube, meet up in person, uh, texting on the phone or calling on the phone, we still walkie talkies. We still got ways to connect,
hmm
you know?
I agree with that. And I think this is a good opportunity to build new ways to connect.
Hey, that part, yeah, exactly. Cause like it's crazy to think that we didn't even like when we talk about okay reminisce. Let me get into because this conversation of Facebook going out and Instagram going out goes back into what we're talking about today. So
hmm
reminiscent. Let's give the actual definition because I love to start from there. Tending to remind one of something, suggesting something by resemblance
hmm
or of a person or their manner, absorbed in a suggesting absorption in memories. So, okay, all of that reminiscent, and I can remember back
hmm
when I was in high school. It was like, ah, I can't imagine what the high schoolers go through now, especially with doing the like you out.
I'm out.
Did look like you out. What it says having trouble connecting.
Oh yeah, it is freezing a little bit.
Let me see. Let me sign up to Facebook and see.
All right. Yeah, it's good though. I mean, I can hear it.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still.
Yeah, it's good though. I mean, I can.
Oh, so you on Facebook? Okay, so that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, great. So yeah, we just crazy to think that in high school, just 20 something years ago. Oh no, tell me to try again. Said try again, try again, try
You
again.
said high school 20 something years ago.
Yeah, try again. Try again, try again, try again. Deciding me and
About high school 20 years ago.
high school 20 years ago. Oh my goodness. Actually, wait, what's this year? We're 2024. It'll be 24 years ago. I graduated in 2020. I mean 2000. What do you mean
That's right.
2020? 2000. Um, but no, it's so crazy. Hold on, let me mute this. I think it's let me sign back in. Hold on. It's let me sign back in, y'all. Hold on. Here we go. I think so. Sign it back in. Sign it back in. Sign it back
Hey.
in. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to do that. I put me.
All right, I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So,
You on
um,
mute? Oh yeah, you're supposed
yes.
to be. Go ahead.
So I guess when I think about high school, it was, I still had the pager
hmm
and I was working two jobs. Like I finished high school early. Like it was the opportunity to be great in
hmm
so many great ways because your mind it wasn't so many shows that was, we had certain days that we would watch TV. There was a show either on Monday, maybe something on Thursday or Friday, but it was like people wasn't in the house all the time. Like people was outside. Like that was the real outside.
hmm
Talking about some outside. That was the real outside because we stayed like They used to have a flea market over there off of they're still saying having trouble. They just really messing with the
And I'm
local
trying to
growth.
rock with you.
Is it still yours? You can still see it on
Yeah, I
Facebook.
can still see you.
Um,
I can still hear you.
okay, that's
But that's what I was thinking too when I think of reminiscing and I think of my childhood. I think of nature. I think of being outside and you know what I mean? My friends,
right.
my cousins,
Hey, the
you know,
cousins.
and just not thinking about time. Just being like in the moment.
I know, like even the smells. Like you remember, I don't know if y'all had this experience. Hopefully, you had this experience. But walking home, like we spend plenty of time just walking home from a practice or walking home from school
Hmm.
at a certain hour. You can smell the smells. You can smell the grandmas and the aunties and the mamas and the papas and the sisters and brothers, everybody that who was at home cooking. Smell
Hmm.
that shit. And it was like a refreshing thing, like hope. Like you could have been hungry as fuck, but it's like, okay, this is so much hope right now. Like,
Yeah. And those smells and tastes brought different feelings and emotions up.
facts.
I think that's why those times were so different because you were getting magic from so many different angles.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Playing on all of your senses. Because right now, what do you smell? Like literally. And then that's the thing too. Like going back to things that you smell from your childhood, like
Hmm.
when it made you feel good, like whether if it was a hamburger that was being cooked by somebody, or some spaghetti, or meatloaf, or anything that you can remember, sitting down and just it could have even been breakfast. A lot of I
Hmm.
think back then there was a lot of more breakfast at home.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of baked goods. I remember going to my grandma's and there's always some on the table.
oh yeah,
Cake,
exactly.
bread,
Always something
pies.
available. Exactly. And so we got into a lot of the packaging has been more mainstream.
Yeah.
So with things coming more packaged, you don't have to go through that process of creating a smell.
Mm.
The smell ain't there.
So you're removing the whole soul out of
Yeah,
preparing the food.
the full experience, because it's touch. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously, if you have other people around, if you have little ones, I mean, I'm always giving my children a chance to help, because it's like, okay, y'all need to see what this is like. And I was kicked up out the kitchen, like no. But if they're serious about it, like there are so many little things that you can instruct little ones to do. But yeah, we're basically on so many levels by stopping one thing
Hmm.
that used to be a part of, like a strong part of our culture. We interrupt so many other avenues.
Mm.
We're disrupting children that should be able to partake and see how are they supposed to be preparing this shit if they want it. If it tastes that good and you can put your foot up in it, how are they supposed to partake in it?
Right. Which I agree. And those are questions we have to start asking ourselves every day. I think we still have this reactive mentality like, okay, I'm sick. Let me start doing something about my diet. You know what I mean? Instead of putting these things in place naturally. And it's getting involved, it's going to these classes, it's researching, it's studying, it's experimenting with your own diet,
That part.
making this shit fun. You know what I mean? I like to get on Pinterest and ask them like, what are kids' lunches, vegan meals, meatless meals. You
And you
feel
get
me?
lost up in that Pinterest by you get lost up in there, be like whoop, like a whole little you get lost up in there.
And that's the beauty of it. That's why, because we have all these things at our fingertips, and at the same time, we complaining.
Exactly.
90% of the stuff I see on Facebook, I'm like, go to Google. Like,
Right. Like why are you asking me? Why you really got on Facebook? Like literally, if I'm asking y'all something on Facebook, it's literally because the sources that I've tried to reach out to, I can't find it. So
hmm
I asked the last week about yoni steams, and it's only because the businesses that do exist, it's not something like, if yellow or white pages still existed, I couldn't go look them up in the yellow
mm,
or white pages. I would only know about them from word of mouth or now social media. So I was saying all that because I see I got something going on in the background. I'm trying to get something else set up while we're doing this
But
here.
no, I love that you said that because it shows back in the day how we had all those avenues. That's actually something I remember too from my childhood. The coupon books, the
Oh
discount
yeah,
books.
we need to get the. Yeah.
And we can be doing that with these local brands and businesses that people want to shop with and say they're going to one day. We can get the ball rolling.
Exactly. I'm trying to get this. This is the.
So yeah, I was I mean I really aligned with reminiscent and reminiscing, and it's a lot of what I do when I daydream. I think like when I was a child, you know what I mean, just laying in the grass just thinking. And being in that space where you feel
Oh no, I'm coming back then. Hold
okay,
on.
but being in that space where you feel how big the universe is, but you also feel like a speck. You feel like a crumb.
Lorax type of shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And realizing
Horton Hears a Who. That's what that was. Horton Hears a Who. When he was a speck.
mm-hmm. Lorax was a good movie too though.
Yeah.
But realizing we can be both. I think that'll help us become more flexible in life. That'll help us become more understanding the things we don't know. That'll help us resonate more with people's walk of life that's new to us. You feel
Exactly.
me?
They are really
Yeah, they
trying
thugging. I don't know if it's because of the Facebook or what. And then I can see you laughing and everything. That's what's funny.
Yeah, and then but even my computer is doing some shit. My
Yeah.
computer is even
We
noticing.
still here with y'all.
It's
Technology's doing something.
listen, it's all like we listen. We come in peace. So whoever doing it, whatever this is, we come in peace. So we spread truth, but it's again the information that we're sharing with y'all is
They can hear you though.
detrimental to it's detrimental to your growth.
Yeah.
You know how you gonna show up. You got to go back again, and I'm gonna talk about that. Hold on, let's come. I'm coming. It's saying allow me. I'm muting. I'm entering.
Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about that. All right, let's get her back.
Yeah. So healing, you gotta like really become your own hero,
Yeah.
and it's easy for us to go back and be like, oh, this person did this, and my mama did this, and my grandmama, and my daddy, and my grandpa, or my aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, teachers, fucking StreamYard and Facebook. You can blame it on everybody.
Yeah.
But how awesome and cool would it be to go into those situations? To go into those situations, thank you.
Hmm.
And oh yeah, because it's got me frozen.
Yeah.
To go into those situations and be able to go and save yourself.
Right.
I'm trying to get all this shit off the everything out the way.
Oh shit. But you said go into those situations and save yourself?
Yeah, like at the end of the day, you know, you oops, you're blaming this is great. That's great. That's great. That's great. You're blaming other people for how you feel,
Uh-huh.
how they showed up in your life, in your childhood.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if there was a perfect scenario, you know what I'm saying? If there was a perfect scenario that could get you to not have to go through what you went through, what would that person have looked like and been like?
Right.
Who would have been the person? Okay, now we can bring it in.
All right.
Who would have been the person that you would have trusted to come and save you? What would they look like?
Mm-hmm.
What would they smell like? How would they act? How would they present themselves? All of that. You know, all of those things. So that's why you have to go back to those moments. It's not to go back and be like, oh man, you this, and that, and the other, because mind you, everybody has a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And when they talk about demons and that and the other, these are just the things that we're battling with within ourselves. We're reasoning within ourselves to say, hey, I don't I feel like I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I shouldn't, or maybe the message came in that they should not be doing whatever it is that they're trying to do, and lo and behold, like now, uh, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place
Mm,
because this is part of their journey, and they may have done some things, they may have learned from it, they may have not, but at the end of the day, it's their journey. You got your journey,
mhm,
and then if people have scarred you, um and I don't want to talk all about trauma because it's not, when we talk about reminiscent and that and the other, you go back trauma time too, but you also go back to the happy moments. You know what I'm saying? Like we
right.
talked about the smells, like as far as walking home from school, or playing kickball in the street, or being outside with your friends, or any happy moments. You still go grab those as well.
Mhm,
However, you have to also go where we're blaming and pointing blame and pointing the finger, because then we alleviate um the growth.
mhm. But I think you touched on a good point, and you made a good point as far as reminiscing is also not a place to go hide. You know what I mean? Because the present is too difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I use reminiscing when I want to do research, when I'm doing shadow work, when I'm
Oh.
daydreaming, when I'm trying to be imaginative and inventive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had to learn to stop using it as a crutch, as a place to hide. You feel me? And
Let me put this here.
okay, that looks a lot better. Actually.
Oops. Oh, let's see. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
We got you.
Okay, because then it's way still posted to Facebook and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot better.
I be getting mixed up with the camera, so like, oh, we did have it together, y'all, but then here
Oh,
we
it's
are.
gonna be technical difficulty sometimes, but we always gonna bounce back.
We
Yeah,
here.
I mean.
Okay. All right. So,
But yeah, I agree as well as reminiscing is not all about trauma. It shows the duality in life. It shows how we can have two things going on at once. We can both be
exactly.
learning and healing.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So going back to, again, part of that healing journey is um saying, also remembering, hey, your life ain't as fucked up as you thought it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you still survived, and even if it was as fucked up as you thought it was, as far as your childhood or your adolescence, whatever stage, you're like, hey, I know that I hold some type of animosity, some type of energy, negative energy towards that area.
Hmm.
Right? It's better to go there and investigate that, and but then also find moments that did actually bring you happiness. It did actually bring you joy. Because we don't want to lie and be like, oh, it was all. It's when we use these words, it was how do they say it? They basically say, oh, I didn't have nothing, or
Like you blaming your past or blaming.
well, I guess like really, you had to have something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
It
had to
might
have a
not have
meal here
been
and
what you
there.
wanted.
Right. You had to have got a shoe here and there. You had to have
Yeah.
gotten a toy or something. Some type of something that was like that brought you joy is what I'm saying. You had some
Absolutely.
joyous moments. And so I think that people can tap into that as they're healing, and then that should assist with um being able to not necessarily point the finger at people, because they was on their journey, and
Hmm.
they, what they could have done to us could have really hurt. It could have, you know really even scarred us in a way. And so we have to own what happened, and then try to have some understanding, like, okay, so where were they, what type of teaching did they have to beat my ass look like this? How close
Hmm.
were they to slavery? The fact that they thought beating me like a, you know
Yeah, made sense.
like I stole something made sense. Exactly.
And I think that is how you can start connecting the past, the present, and the future. Because the future is nothing but today built up, you feel me? And we're creating the past for the future today. You get what I'm saying?
Say that again.
So so the future is the present built up, is the present stacked on top of each other. And the past is today's, you dig what I mean? Today is the present, is the future's past.
There it is.
So this is how you can create a reminiscent cycle. It's what I started doing on my healing journey. I had to ask myself, like, okay, realistically, how far do you think your memory can really go back and be accurate? And I gave myself about 2 years. About 2 years, you can really remember what you did over the last 2 years. 3 years, it gets a little foggy. You remember big moments, but not what you had for breakfast March 9th and what was the weather like. And you dig what I'm saying?
Taking a picture of it and posting it every day.
True, true. You can document, absolutely.
Because I was like, oh damn, I had the same outfit on, like literally 3 years in a row. On a specific day, I had the same outfit on every day.
Thugging.
That was crazy. Yeah.
That's some spiritual shit. I love it. So you can now start to gauge your well being. Because then I had to associate. Okay, for someone, I put myself in the shoes of someone who considers their life bad, and they say that I have bad days. I had a bad month. It just kept going on. So okay, let's say you're looking back over the last 2 years. So that means you really only gotta go crazy super hard for 2 years. And then when you get in year three, when you're reflecting on that last 2 years, it's going to be good. You get what I'm saying? So now you're going to have the encouragement, the empowerment. All right, let's make the next two good. So now you look back, it's two more good, but it's your second set of two. You know how to count. It's 4 good years, back to back to back to back. You dig? You done graduated some shit now. So as you keep going, and pretty much, eventually you'll look back and say, okay, I have a good life. I don't remember a time when it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And you can only be 6 years into this journey. You feel what I'm saying?
Gives you more appreciation of the sacrifices that the people did make, regardless of the information that they had or lack thereof. Like, you'll start showing appreciation, like, okay, well, damn, my mom or my father did X, Y, and Z, or these people that was over governing over me did X, Y, and Z. But they provided.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In whatever type of way, they provided something for me. They still had to sacrifice their own personal life and journey to accommodate me in some type of way. And so it really, again, all of these healing tactics is going to help you be not like pointing the finger.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you should have did this. Oh, you're just so the worst person, or you're this, that, and the other. Now, mind you, there are gonna come times where you have to tell people about themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is we need to be comfortable with owning our part. And even on some extremes where it's like um a sexual interaction at a younger age, or engaging in some breaking and entering or whatever, like being coerced to do something that we didn't feel like we had the knowledge to say, no, I don't want to do this, or stand up for ourselves. Even that plays a part in your character for the good. Like having those experiences where you didn't show up, because it's like that's what's haunting you, like getting pulled over by the police or whatever, or being in situations where you're peer pressured, and or any situation that you felt like where somebody was over you. It's because you wasn't prepared to show up for yourself. You didn't have the right words to advocate, to defend, to negotiate, to nurture, whatever. You didn't have the words, and so you stayed silent. You let it happen. You took whatever. You passive aggressive. That is what's haunting you, because you go back to like, man, I should have, or I should have, what I'm saying? Whatever, you should have stood up for yourself, and you didn't, and so that's what haunts you. And so because a person or situation or thing is attached to that moment, we sometimes will place blame on them rather than just taking ownership of saying, okay, what can I personally in this moment have done better?
Right.
Because in that way, if it happens again, now I'm prepared. I already know how to show up. I already know the dialogue. I already know the conversation. Yeah, we already know. We're preparing ourselves. We're not going back and saying, "Oh, woe is me."
Right.
And you see what this nigga did. And yeah, we get it out, like vent and get that shit out. But once you get that shit out and get it done with, okay, now what's the lesson?
Right.
We're learning and growing over here.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the lesson again could be, how could you have handled yourself different if you felt like there was no protection, or if you felt like you was shaded or slighted, or somebody took advantage of you financially, or whatever type of way taking advantage. You could take it up, I don't want to just say sexual, but whatever type of way, because people take advantage of you in multiple ways.
Yeah.
So again, it's your voice. It's you're going deep enough. Again, you're being that hero. So if you can go be the hero for the child, you definitely can be the hero for the adult version of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You go back and save your childhood and be like, okay, yeah, you've been through this, you've done that, ba da da ba ba ba, boom. But here we are today, operating with those still little hurt feelings, not little hurt, but as a child,
Yeah.
all of that hurt, and you're associated with situations and people, and you're harboring animosity, and that's a lot of fucking energy.
Yeah.
People do a lot of shit with animosity. You understand? So, um,
And I think that's the trade off of when we have to tap into anger to be assertive or to be aggressive. You know what I mean? When I get into those places in life, it's usually out of principle and honor and logic or self defense.
for sure.
But it's not inherently my intentions because I use reminiscing to remember how I felt when I was in a situation like that in the past.
I love how listen, and I love how again. That's why you got to go back and face those conversations because there's people out here literally dealing with. I'm like, girl, this is the same shit with the last nigga.
Exactly.
This ain't nothing new.
You a magnet.
Like, I feel like I be looking like, was we just having this conversation a couple days ago?
Mhm.
I ended up purposely stopping certain things like that because it was like I give so many solutions and so many ideas that when it's not, when I see people ain't doing what they need to do for the complaints that they got for themselves, it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
You got hella complaints, and I got hella solutions for every single one of them, and you still sitting over there complaining. You don't want to change.
Yeah.
So,
and we can't help people past that point.
Yeah,
and
because that's really like showing up for living for them.
yeah.
And I don't want it. I've actually used to do that when I was heavy in the church, where it's like I wanted something so bad for people that they didn't even want for themselves. It's like,
Yeah.
you over here in church want people to get saved, sanctified, and holy, and all this dipped and fried and all this other shit. And meanwhile, they don't want that for themselves. They do not want that
Yeah.
for themselves.
You
But
convince them that's what's good. But that's why everything you saying is on point and you gotta do the inner work because why did you allow them to trick you? You feel me? That's your journey. That's why what you saying is fact. You can't blame it on nobody else because you still allowed them to do what they did.
and I just seen 111.
Hey, 111 in the building. It's all ones popping up.
Yeah, it is.
Some winners.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're learning life now by living life, but you have to be paying attention. You got to be aware of what's going on. And then it'll help you when you have those visions of the future. It'll help you when you have those flashes of the past and it's pleasant memories. And two, those things change through life.
Yeah.
How I thought about myself at the age 10 was different when I was thinking about it at the age 12, at the age 15, at the age 16, at the age 25, at the age 30, at the age 31. You dig? I had different memories and things I connected with because of where I was at that time.
Right.
So sometimes we are resonating with what we feel is our energy, but that's the energy we're surrounding ourselves with. So we gotta pay attention. You feel me? Look around like, oh, I'm in the wrong neighborhood. This ain't my house and go home. Like that's the discipline. That's why we teach you in class to do the work because you're always going to have to do the work. There is no work to get you around doing the work. You dig? And healing is going to be a lot less energy than avoiding healing.
Exactly. It's like you got to just start somewhere and make up in your mind and then be okay with the fact that guess what? None of us are perfect.
Right.
None of us was created to be, and you may try for perfection even with myself, but even in that I'm reminded to sit down, calm down, and I don't own the invention of time. They
Right.
invented time.
Right.
I know I can calculate, okay, well, this might in terms of minutes and seconds, this might take me X, Y, and Z time. But then when it gets away from me, I ain't the owner of that.
Exactly.
So I participate in it. And so as a participant in this human experience, I think is going to be better served to, as you're doing this work, to give yourself some grace and the people too that's been involved as far as your journey, because again, they got to face the shit that they did too. Whatever that you think is so wrong or so horrible, Or even like even in remembering the joyous moments, you want to bring those forward to people in the future, that let them know what you experience, what is joy, what it feels like, and
Mm-hmm.
are you feeling that now? If you can find joyous moments in your childhood, smells, um, places, sceneries, people that brought you joy, do those same things make you feel joy now? Do you have those similar things or same things that's still bringing you joy? Because even if it's not, like I said, all negative, going back and confronting things, situations, yada yada, that's
Mm-hmm.
something that you're gonna have to do in every situation. Literally,
Yeah.
every decision you make, you'll be like, okay, okay, no, all right, yep, oh, no, I'm good, we cool. Or I'm like, nah, you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you need to do X, Y, and Z. So again, in every
Mm-hmm.
situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have that conversation. There's gonna be a chance for you to grow and figure out, okay, I need to be more gentle with myself.
I
Because it's my
should.
first time doing this,
Mm-hmm.
or or my second time I'm getting the hang of it, and I did this better. So you still enjoy, you still encourage yourself. I did this better than I did last time, or
Yeah.
I didn't do that like I did last time, or it could have been worse. Like all these things,
Mm-hmm.
like there's always something better to focus on
Yeah.
when you're going back, and even in that short memory of making mistakes like just yesterday or
Mm-hmm.
last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's not from childhood. Let's say it's last year or just within the more recent. You still gotta have these conversations so that you don't wind up being in limbo.
And I think what'll help is because that's what I was hearing. That's what I was seeing. That person being stuck. And sometimes it's because you are stuck. It's because you're not implementing evolution into what you're doing. When I was a kid, I ate cereal and watched cartoons in the morning. When I became an adult, it was fruit and lectures in the afternoon. I'm still doing the same thing,
Right, I see, I see.
but I evolved it to fit my life now.
Yeah, 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 for
So
sure.
that is what we call in the biz paying homage. I'm paying homage to younger me, like good looking. I still use this. And that's how I live in the present. I come with a decision. I'm like, okay, in 5 years, am I going to look back and appreciate what I'm about to do? And if I say no, I shouldn't do it. And when we do say yes, anyways, it's because we're living in the moment. We're stuck in the moment. You dig what I'm saying? The moment is ever fleeting. That's why you gotta love the moment when it's here, because it's gone. You feel me? And then you learn to start being present. But it's hard to be present when you're distracted by five different things.
Right, this is very true. Even like myself right now.
Just in life. But see, that's the duality of also we have to multitask.
Right.
This is why living intentionally is perfect, because then you won't know if you're coming or going if you're not living intentionally. You'll think you're doing something wrong when you might be doing something right. You should the thing that you're doing wrong is you should be doing more of it. You dig what I mean? That's the only problem you have. And that's a good problem to have. That's the two people that live next to each other. You got to put yourself in that situation. They both have the same lifestyle. They both have the same job. They both bring the same paycheck home. So when they wake up in the morning and open the fridge, when they wake up in the afternoon and open the fridge, one has a fully stocked fridge, the other one doesn't. So both of them instantly have a problem. But one has a good problem and one has a not so good problem. One's problem is, what am I going to eat today? And the other's problem is, how am I going to get food to even figure out what I want to eat today? So this is the importance. I was talking this about somebody the other day, like, because I made a post, and somebody said we got to change the rhetoric, we got to change the focus, we got to get people out of thinking being a billionaire is happiness, and waking up in a good mood is happiness, and that's so much more important than being a billionaire. So I was talking about that, like, because they were asking me, like, they were saying, like, I used to wake up with bad days, and I didn't understand why, and I didn't understand how that was offset my life. And I said, it's because they were saying that to me. This was a discussion they said about the post I made, basically. They didn't say it in the comments because I guess it was personal, but they messaged me about it.
Gotcha.
So I said, the reason I start off in the morning, it's funny. It was something I was able to connect it through I seen on My Wife and Kids. Michael and Kyle was teaching Katie about a sin cup. And basically, he's like, all right, when you do something bad, you got to put something in your sin cup. But when you do something, sin cup. But when you do something good for yourself, you take it out of the sin cup. So associated that with, like, okay, we have this bank every day of, let's say, emotional availability. So soon as you leave the house, things are pulling from that bank. You get what I'm saying? And the days I feel more depleted are the days I didn't wake up and do my routine. I didn't wake up and meditate. I didn't eat right in the morning. I had that cereal for breakfast. You hear me? So now when things are pulling out for me there, it's easy to deplete me. But when I do my routine in the morning and put all of these things in me, nothing can take away from that. Right. And then you're going to have those golden days where things are pouring into you. So now you overflowing with things. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I told them that's how your energy is set up every day. So when you get up at 5 and you just start your day, like it's gonna be easy to you didn't add nothing to your cup. But when you get up early, because that's usually the diet. When people start getting mentally conscious, they start waking up earlier. They start going to sleep earlier. You feel me? People like us, we do whatever we want. But some of y'all, y'all follow those patterns. I've noticed. So your body is already resonating with, look, we get up earlier, we start earlier, we have better days. We're more productive, we get things done. We actually have time to sit down and be like, man, I can take a break. But when we get up late, we're behind the whole day. Yeah. The whole day.
And I think, see, and that's too, like, it's two folds with that because that's where the grace comes in. Like on even yourself, like if I've like gotten to the yoga meditation, and like okay, I know I got to leave the house by this time. Da da da. Like left, I left on time last week, but I ended up going to like three different stores before the session. It was crazy. But I remember coaching myself the whole way, like, don't go backwards. Like don't think negative about something that you're about to provide. Like
Yeah.
you have to stay in a positive mindset. And I kept on literally having a conversation with myself, like, nope, you're gonna arrive right on time. What? I arrived right on time. And dude was already there, had it unlocked for me. It was like, okay, listen, we're in here. Like, and then everything still worked out. And so I think that time is one of those things where, because when we're talking about remembering, that is like it is time. Because remember, it's going back to something that's already happened. Mm-hmm. Or even something that is going to happen, because then there's deja, what they call deja vu. But it's just basically because all of this is, from what I've been told, is one big dream.
Absolutely. And I love deja vu.
Yeah. Exactly.
How do you feel about that?
I love it because for
I
me,
used to study it heavy.
So deja vu for me be like, it's like a stamp of approval. Like you're where we.
Thank you. That's what I think
Stamp
too.
of approval, because it's like if I've already seen this shit, literally people, places, conversations, everything we was doing, and then it happening right now in real time. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. It's all the way lit. And I've always felt that way. I get really excited when it's deja vu. Like,
I love deja vu. I seen this.
In my mind, I be like, I was supposed to be, especially when I have it with my people, because it's the people that I fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Same. My homegirl Kim, that lives in Jacksonville. When I went down just last month to go see the kids and everything, I had deja vu with her, and I had not been in her new space because she used to live in a different part of Florida, and so where she moved to was my first time there. And I'm like, man, okay. I had been in there, woo woo, and next thing you know, I was like, oh my gosh, this is deja vu, because this is the bathroom and this is where it's at. No, 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 no. I was like, oh yes, that's it. She's like, that's what's up. Like, because even for the person that you're sharing the deja vu with, it's even a stamp of approval that boom, they're where they're supposed to be. Yeah. Like they showing up, like whether what, even if they're showing up to play the bad part, the villain. Exactly. Even if they showing up to be the villain, like listen, they playing their part. You can't be.
And you're gonna have to be the villain sometimes. When somebody's not, feeling well, and you can see it's directly correlated to how they eat, I'm gonna be the villain.
Man, listen, it's so crazy that
I'm gonna be the villain.
I have a person that
love you though,
that I follow, a dope ass sister, and she travels frequently, like a lot, like out of the country, a lot. But she always posting that she's sick, she don't feel good, and that and the other. But then she posts her little, she'll have some herbs, but it'd be like a whole bunch, medicine, all this other shit. And I'm like, bruh, you eat like crazy because regionally, everybody got stomachs that kind of fit them regionally. That's why we can go somewhere and indulge for a little bit and it'll be all right. But to be over there or try to do the same thing here,
Right.
we don't,
No.
bro. We just don't have the same thing. So you got to be careful with certain stuff. But it's just a lot of exotic meats and fish and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It just be like y'all got to be really careful because you just got to. And so it's, I guess for me, one of the things when I encourage people about plant based, I be wanting to let them know that it's more so about just giving your system a break.
Yeah.
Because we wasn't intended to do what we're doing. We're just keeping up with the Joneses. We're keeping up a narrative that's been false for so long. And
Right.
then you can even use this in your reminiscence and go back to see how food over your life has played a part in either your depression or your happy moments or your joyful moments or sad moments
Yes.
or all of those things, because food is like literally something what I say, which is what I say in class. Y'all be knowing in yoga class I say this, that it, people literally make love to food,
Mm-hmm.
and not like just in a relational sexual way. I mean just like soulful, internal, like,
Yes.
oh, it's
Yeah.
so fucking good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, with that being said, we're making love to food that's like for the streets.
It ain't loving you back.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
it's for the streets. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They out here for the streets. They not out here to love you, boo. They don't love your doggy
And
style.
that's the irony of humans. They'll judge rats and roaches, and then you eat they fucking food. That's why they mad. Y'all keep eating they
Man,
shit.
listen, they be not be all up in your grill, all up in they shit.
The possums, that's why they
Yeah, they
keep
over
paying
there
you a
like, why you
visit.
huh?
Why you been in my fridge, dog?
Right, why you over there taking my shit? I got something for you. No,
I didn't
that's
touch your greens. Like,
right.
what we doing?
Exactly. And that's the realness of it all. Because again, y'all just have to, a lot of these things you just gotta go back to thinking on this preschool level.
Yeah.
If your body is responding, I literally had this conversation with a lady yesterday. Literally had a conversation with her yesterday, and we were talking about. She said she gave her daughter at like 12 or 13. She let the doctors give her daughter the HPV vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
That was big. Like my nieces and nephews is like in a, I think one just turned 30 or 31. So 10 plus years ago, that's when they started really pushing that.
Mm-hmm.
So they was trying to get, was talking, calling it preventing. I asked her, I said, preventing her from what? She was like, well, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer. And I said, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, cervix, her uterus, her womb. So she got an issue with her womb. Is that the problem?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the problem, why would you not say, okay, let's research all the shit we know that's already been giving people cancer in the womb area?
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson has paid out millions, if not billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Other things that we put on and use,
Three,
they,
4 times a day.
man, and then we're eating like whatever these hormones, and
Yeah.
they've been feeding us like y'all.
Science class, all them chemicals mixing together inside of you. You the crock pot.
Exactly. You the test tube, baby.
Yeah.
You the test now. You're the rat. Literally, you're the rat. You're the mice experiment. And so they see now how it play a part on the body. And I'm speaking all this shit from experience. You know what I'm saying? I've been in my body for 41 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I know how I've used birth control, how I used to eat out really heavily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I stopped eating McDonald's in 2008, but even up until then, I can remember eating, and within like 5 minutes, it was like I didn't eat anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then within another like maybe 20 minutes or something, I had to go to the bathroom really bad. So I knew there was
Mm-hmm.
like a chain reaction. Okay, eat McDonald's and it's going to send you to the bathroom. And I didn't know exactly what that meant, because even though you should have a closer cycle, like, okay, you eat, drink, boom, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, you should be having a bowel movement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
that's heavily predicated on what you eating, because all of it digests at
It ain't
different
all coming
times.
out. Some of that stuff, because
Yeah.
like literally people are living with up to 6 months of waste.
Yeah.
And that's a nation thing here. It's
Yeah.
is based here.
And I think that's the entire collective is what you eat, is you're not active, is you're not in a good mood half the time, and it's you're around people who ain't in a good mood half the time.
That part.
They all again mixing chemically together inside of you, and you don't even look within on those things. Like you said, it's easy to blame the catalyst and it's easy to blame what's happening. But this is what we do in class. This is meditation. It's taking yourself out and becoming the observer. So you don't always have to interfere. That's ego thinking you always have to interfere.
Right.
You always gotta address the bully. You gotta call out the snitch. You know what I mean? Like that's ego.
I might ask you to say nothing else.
Yeah, like that's
and I can see if it's a direct threat to you.
I mean, I agree. It's circumstantial,
Yeah.
absolutely. But how often we're using these type of techniques and we don't on the back end use coping mechanisms. We don't
Right.
use problem solving skills.
Hey,
You see what I'm
you're
saying?
going exactly where I'm going to because I can think about the lady at Walmart that went viral with her baby in the stroller and the buggy, and they was supposedly only had on a diaper, and she was putting frozen
Yeah,
food on her
yeah,
stuff. I didn't watch. I still haven't seen the whole video, so I can't even. I'm only commenting from how I know based on this statement that you're making, how it fits into again, you want to call the police because you work at a certain store and somebody's stealing something or whatever. You want to do all these extras, but are you do like the coping? Are you able to understand? Is there a conversation? Are you able to send them to a pantry? Are you able to give them $20? Are you able to do this
right,
instead of putting them into the system and involving a system that we all trying to get away from?
right.
So that's what that
And
is.
you ain't gonna call the cops on yourself when
Even
you
with
messing up.
that part, even with CPS, y'all so quick to
Yeah,
call and involve certain things when it comes to families and children, but it's like, where you at?
exactly.
Where's your energy? These it's not. It says it takes a village to raise.
Yeah,
It takes a village to raise a family, to raise children, to raise one child. It takes a whole fucking village, not two people or not one and a half person
right.
or not even just one person. It takes a whole entire village. So if you are part of the village and you're calling people on me um because of how I'm performing or the lack thereof, you're not a part of the village, and you're not a part. That's not a part of. That's not a solution for the Black community.
Right.
Now, if you was in the white community, that was created for them. It wasn't created for us in
Right.
that way. So if you're seeing a problem, you should be asking questions. You should go and don't assume shit because assumption it makes an ass out of you, and that's a true statement.
Yeah.
People don't know what they don't know. That's where the grace comes in. So even in remembering that remembering of where you came from, where your mother may have came from, or your grandmother, and then when you're seeing a young mother or a young father, you should be putting them into that space. Okay.
Absolutely.
Like, oh well, shit,
Absolutely.
if it was hard for my people, I can't expect it to be super easy for them.
Right.
Especially if there was some absentees, especially if they grew up where a lot of us came from, where we had a lot of single households.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of not having villages show up. We had a lot of parents just thinking that, no, guess what? We're Superman. We can do this on our own.
Yeah. And look at the trade off. They worked 50, 60 years and we have nothing to show for it.
Worked all these jobs and worked into a grave.
Yeah.
And you're right, have nothing to show for it. No land, no no property, no store, no
Mm-hmm.
barbershop, no beauty salon, no laundromat.
And that fed and that came through once we allowed the programming to stick, and we allow it to stick when we don't heal ourselves. You know what I mean? Frederick Douglass said it perfect. Like an educated person is unfit to be a slave. So when you're not educating yourself, you're choosing slavery. You're not holding yourself accountable to being at a higher stance. So when they now got you consistently calling the police, you're not policing your own neighborhood. When they got you consistently running to the doctor, you don't know how to fix your kids if the hospital was shut
Or
down.
yourself, like you're with your own self.
If the hospital rejects you, you don't know what to do.
And I even told my exes the other day, he mentioned something about my daughter, and I said, well, like you can tell them you love them and give them hugs.
Yeah.
Like They shouldn't have to. Your children shouldn't have to solicit hugs from you. You should be willingly showing them affection.
Yeah.
And a lot of that you can't do. A lot of that is challenging to do unless you do this other work we're telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to some other areas because, again, you got to tap into the things that made you happy as a child at all stages. If your child is 10 and you having problems with a 10-year-old, okay, well, what was I doing at 10?
And leave out the control. Leave out the trying to
They got
make
to be
their
like me.
10 look like your 10. You
Yeah.
feel me? And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like these are a lot of the things I practice like in my spiritual journey and in shadow work. You know what I mean? It's trying to put myself in that position, but also realizing like I am here to guide and assist them, not force them down a certain path. I am here to teach them and love them, not judge them.
Right.
And it's your frequency. I have a daughter I see so frequently, and I learned through her, like I had to get more excited about my children. So now every time I see her, even if it's once a month, I'm excited. I'm fired up. You know what I mean? And I remembered being in that space, like this is how excited I used to be being a child. They deserve that. You know what I mean? So don't also just reminisce, apply what you're learning. In every facet of life, apply what you're learning.
Because you're not going back and retrieving for no reason. You're going back into that space that made you feel hurt or abused or even joyous or happy. You're going to get that to bring forward in your future. You understand? Like you're bringing it forward, carrying it forward. So yeah,
That's what I feel like the kids are asking for.
they
I don't
asking
feel
for
like they're
that.
asking for Disneyland and you know what I mean? I feel like they're asking for kid you. That's why when we do this field day, people's face they're gonna see their kids' face light up because they get to see you stumble around in the field. They get to see you be curious about a tree. Like, hey, what's that tree called, Dad? Well, shit, I don't know. They get to see you be a kid again. And how often do your kids get to see that?
Right, and we need more people that's in there. Like, I'm happy to have a lot of people in my age group that are still taking care of their bodies because
Sure.
it's like, yo, this is what we supposed to be doing. Like, if I was over in Ghana with a 76-year-old man that was he did all well, he didn't do the one hike, but he did most of the hikes we did. He did the hikes with us with no problem. He was climbing shit with no problem. Like, this is what we supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so I love that for black men and for black women that are tapping into healing their body because you should be able, if you still able to have children or you have young children and they want to go outside and play, you should be able to go outside and play without your phone with them for a minute. Even
Yeah.
if it's just 10, 15 minutes. Like we didn't have it. Again, we had our parents in different ways. And we had block people different ways.
Yeah.
They wasn't always engaging and interacting, but these children, they need hands on.
Yeah.
They need to see you kick a ball. They
A
need to
hundred
see you run
percent.
and play hide and seek and try to hide behind a tree outside and trip and fall, ride a bike or something. They need swinging, something.
And I think that is your journey. You need to get there and be intact. You feel me? There's a lot of people in a lot of different paths. Like my path in college, when I hurt my knee, I was fortunate, and I've been fortunate my whole life because I know, like, I just was covered. You feel me by my elders. So when I hurt my knee in hoop, I just was fortunate to get a good doctor. And he came in because the school was trying to rush me to get surgery to hurry up and get back. And I've never had surgery, never planned on it.
Yep.
So it was my MCL, my meniscus. So they trying to rush me into surgery and stuff. I meet my doctor, and he used to be a family doctor. So I thought he wasn't gonna be able to make it tight, but he ended up showing up. And he came in there, everybody else left. He shut the door. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna keep it real." He said, "You see those old retired NBA players that can't move and can't walk? It's because they had 3 surgeries, and your knee never heals back from that stuff. It never gets fixed. So now they can't even run around with their grandkids in the backyard." He said, "So if you want to have kids, I didn't have kids at the time.
Oh wow.
So he said, if you want to plan on having kids one day and playing with your grandkids, like wouldn't do the surgery." So that's when I retired. Like that's when I stopped hooping. I ended up leaving that school, going to DeRai after that. You feel me? But that's when I was just like, cause and that was my only purpose for being at that school was hoop. I was always honest with myself. Like I know why I'm here. You know what I mean? If I'm going to war to get away from my family, I'm not at war. Like let's go America. Like I know why I'm here. You feel me? Like it was the same in hoop. Hoop was my getaway from the world. It was my getaway from police and judgment and stereotypes and people's curiosity, so now they picking with you and things like that. And the gym was just, I could be me, I could be free. You know what I mean? And then we had brotherhood. Like that's what the coaches was teaching us. Like your brother fall down, you should be the first one there to pick him up. I should see six people around them trying to pick them up first. You know what I mean? And those were the things they were instilling in us.
Isn't that crazy? If like that's part of it sounds like rites of passage where but you learn how to do that for everybody in the village, right? And so your basketball team became your village.
Yeah. Yeah, still
Because
to
it was
this
yeah,
day.
exactly.
We
And
might
so
talk once a year, but we're gonna talk and we're gonna laugh and we're gonna reminisce. You
that
know?
is what I desire to see in these small knit communities in the city is where we have people that's able to really test the waters.
Yeah.
How are you showing up for us?
Yeah.
How you gonna treat me when I get 80? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
How you gonna treat me when I get 100? You know, like what am I teaching you to do for me as I age?
That's deep.
So am I teaching you that it's okay not to be outside with the children?
Right.
Are you gonna see that when you get older? Like my parents wasn't outside with me, but shit, I ain't about to be outside with these. Yeah, the fuck?
Exactly. You teaching them how to be grumpy.
Right, exactly. All of that, yeah.
And those become programming when we're young and people are just like, oh, people are grumpy. When that starts to become you feel me?
Trying to make it normal.
No, I know some happy ass old people. I don't know who y'all know.
And it's
They
like,
full of life.
and I'm seeing too the progression of their shadow work, where they may not even known that they were actually facing the fact that they have had a great life.
Yeah.
You know, that it's okay to just sit and chill right now. They've done a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm good to sit and chill if I want to. Or I want to go travel. Or I want to go do this. So it's I see them as that. And I see like when I was out at the Franklin Park with the people who are saying like, hey, they trying to take our homes. Like it's a whole bunch of elders, black people. And I'm like, where's all the black folks that got the money in the city? Because clearly y'all need to be connecting with these elders to ensure they basically want to ensure that their property stay in black as a black community. They've already stolen so much of that area, and making us pay to get into the park and shit like that. Yeah. Doing things like that. But
I think it's funny that you said that because I think about that and I think about Columbus being different in that aspect from a Detroit, from a Chicago, from a St. Louis, from a New York. In a sense, those places started out with a certain people and grew. Columbus is growing because people are moving here. Exactly. You get what I'm saying? So it's cutting our family ties to the elders because they don't know this old man at the end of the street. That's how they gonna look at it.
Exactly.
He the cranky old man. I don't want him living next to me. Get him out of here. You feel what I'm saying? But when we start loving ourselves and we start having appreciation for those people, we can be like, okay, that's somebody's grandfather. Yeah, exactly. That's somebody's brother. That's somebody's son.
Child. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He came in through from a womb just like you.
Yeah.
Okay, he ain't no alien.
Yeah.
And he deserved the amount of love and respect, if not even more, as you would give an infant.
Yep.
And it's funny you say Detroit because my homegirl, Kamira, she just popped on.
Shout out to the D.
Yeah, she from there. She stay in Florida now, but she from the D. Yeah.
Hey.
But that was synchronicity because right when you said that, she popped on.
Hey.
Yeah, so you need to understand like that the work that you're doing within yourself, as far as healing your childhood, healing your teenage, healing like shit you done yesterday, like I said before, is to help you be able to be connected with the elders. Is to help you to be connected with the future and the past. Like the past is, even though the elders are living in the future, they're still a large part of your past because they've been seeing shit. They've been seeing shit change over decade after decade. And you plan on going farther, you plan on going far, you plan on building an empire, a kingdom, whatever, you need to know what happened. Not only in your own personal past, like, you know, like you said, you can remember what, like 2-3 years and after
vividly, yeah.
So again, we going back to you trying to go back to the womb. As far as you can go back to remember. Why? Because you're healing yourself. Everything that scarred you, whether you were conscious of it or not, is scarred, period. Yeah. And until you go back and be like, well, how did I get this? How did I get oh shit, now I remember the one time we was you know.
And that will constantly put us in a situation where we're breaking these generational curses, which is the programming. When they tell you things like, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. No,
No,
if you don't use it, it's not available. You feel me? That's why you use it, so it becomes available to you. So now when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, the ancestors sent me the trumpet, to play at this nigga's funeral. What was I thinking? That's what it's for. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on because you buy into it. This is why I tell people all the time, especially in therapy, you can chant the words, you can wear the jewels. The magic does not work for you if you do not believe in the magic. If you are not a holder of the light, that is someone who lives by the light. They are not someone who teaches and preaches the light. You can see the light just from seeing them. They might not say much, you know what I'm saying? And then things start to work for you. And things don't work for you the way you want them, but things will work in your favor. And those symbols will show you where they are. If people just keep bringing you ingredients to make a cake and you always wanted to have a bakery, ding, ding, ding. The universe has spoken. You feel what I'm saying? Now you got to do the work. It said, okay, I did my shit. I love you enough. I'm going to show up first. Right. But you got to show up most. You dig? And that's what they don't like hearing. They just hear bakery and they stuck there. Right. They can't evolve from that. Just bakery. But what if you opened a whole fleet of bakeries? What if you opened a nonprofit that took all the trash from Kroger's and repurposed it into food that people can eat? Because it's still good. Right. It ain't good to sell for them, but it's good to eat. You get what I'm saying? Right. And at one point in time, people lived off bread and water. Like, the fuck? Yeah, yeah, literally. We got to get tapped in with history. We be so pressed over the past. Look up some history then, fam. Like, exactly. Stop limiting it to the last 20 years. Yeah, exactly. Stop limiting it to the last 30 years because you're not paying homage to the people that lived 300 years ago.
And that's what it is. It's paying homage to the people that came before you. Like, yeah. If you're not tapping in with that, because I'm like, when I was at this thing, I'm like, man, it was like 6 or 7 different elders there that was all like in their 80s and up. Mm-hmm. And the one lady 100. So there that is.
They be getting dressed up too.
Yeah, they up there suited and booted.
Looking
and
good.
Let me tell you what they was feeding them. That's what they fed them.
What?
Reese's cups.
Oh man.
Some ding dongs. There was some leftover shit from Valentine's Day.
Oh, church food. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Some leftover shit. I ended up having some fruit left over from the class on Sunday, so I gave them some of that. I had like maybe like a couple apples and some grapefruit, which they need. And it's so crazy with the elders because blood pressure, high blood pressure, a lot of them are on that. Yeah. We're gonna have to have somebody on the show to break that down. Yeah. Because I know it in my own way in terms of being able to see inside of a human body before, like when they had that body show. Have you ever seen that, the body show that they had at Easton a while ago? Mm-hmm.
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't get to go.
Shit like cut open in every type of way. Like, I mean, in every
that sounds lit.
Way. From everything from like they had one where they had the outline of the body, but it was nothing but the veins. So it's all the veins that's in the whole body, but no body, like no shell, no bones, no
That's
nothing.
Cool.
Yes, all of that. So they had literally the bodies broken down. It's cool and not. It's cool and cruel at the same time. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. It was all Chinese people.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was way to get rid of some bodies. Huh? Said way to get rid of some bodies.
Yeah, they was all Chinese folks. So, but it gave me a better understanding of people who are taking medication, right? That's supposed to do one thing, supposed to widen the vein or do this and the other. It's like they can only widen so big, but then you see people with the legs after a while, like the legs just start getting real droopy because they're carrying all of this. They have them taking a water pill.
Yeah. I've heard about
that. And I feel like it's like some space shit. When I hear a water pill, like Same. Yeah, it feels like space type of shit.
It all feels like gateway drugs to get you used to popping pills and not thinking about it, but also now associating with I take this pill to do this. So now when the commercial is like, you want a pill to be pretty? Here.
This pill will be
Look at this lady right here. She takes 2 pills a day.
It's gonna make you beautiful. And it's gonna make you talk like this. And snap your fingers. Yeah, go and take that pill. But no, seriously, we are getting people are, and they don't even realize it. Because I
Yeah.
used to make comments all the time, like I don't have nothing, or I don't have no orange and white bottles in my cabinet, and if I do, it's like an antibiotic or something for like the treat whatever happened right then and there.
Right.
It's an antibiotic type of thing, and even then, like the antibiotics that they're making, you got to think about antibiotic. Your body's is producing certain things to. If it has everything it needs, it'll produce whatever it needs to cleanse
Right.
whatever is in there ain't supposed to be up in there.
Exactly.
So it's the way we were set up, literally. But again, we've been trained and brainwashed to believe in the hype. Yeah. The person that's coming to your house with a white cloak on, the bag,
Yes.
or even going to the hospital or going to the doctor's office, like they knows best. And it's like they don't know best. What they do know is they have been trained. Mind you, all of these is practice. They call it your practice. You either got a medical practice, you got a dental practice, it's law practice. They're practicing whatever the fuck they've been in school learning all the damn time.
Exactly.
The sad part about the practice is that, especially in my line of work with birth work, they're not practicing the natural way. They're not practicing natural birth. They're not practicing home birth. Doctors are not coming to the home to see home births. If you have an OBGYN obstetricianist yeah, so the OB part is for the surgical, meaning that they have been trained to cut you open. Okay? Um that's what that obstetricians is, a surgical procedure. That's what they're trained in. Mm-hmm. Heavily. And then, the other part, gynecologist. So a gynecologist, they can be just a gynecologist and it's somebody who's not trained to cut you up because they don't have the OB part. The OB part is surgery. Okay. So again, these people ain't coming to your home. They don't care how you live or any other. And I don't mean to paint them out as the bad people. I'm just saying this is just what it is, people. They are not in it like to keep birth sacred. They're in it to keep the American Medical whatever it is association going. Exactly. And that profitable. That's way right. And that making it be a stamp on this way is right. Meaning, all these interventions that they're coming up with, mm-hmm. the numbers are still skyrocketing. Cancers in the Black community, we still got, supposedly from their numbers, I don't know how much truth, but they still have the highest numbers. When it comes to infant mortality and maternal mortality, we still have the higher numbers. This is nationwide. Diabetes, nationwide. Heart attacks, nationwide. Inflammation, go down the list. But they all are connected to the same like couple things. Yeah. Lack of nutrition in the body, or what you're putting in the body, and the body trying to figure out like, okay, we about to explode. Like I can't push all this shit through. I can't pump this shit through your veins. Exactly. Even if you take a pill and widen them up a little bit more, I can't. I'm give me a break. I give up on you. But you can change it by your nutrition, how you think and how you feel about yourself and your environment, your stress levels. Yeah. Like all of those things will heal you from anything, but you got to start somewhere, and you can't continue to live a lie. Like we spit this knowledge. If you hear any drop of knowledge, yeah, that's factuals. That's the truth. You're no longer like it's 2024. We're healing all year. You're not going to be able to be like, oh well, tomorrow. Exactly. Because tomorrow's gonna haunt you. And it ain't never gonna come, so you're never gonna get around to it. You know what I mean? And that nutrition feeds in as far as being active too. Like those first steps is learning your body, learning the catalyst. If you don't know the problem, you can't have a solution. So when you start learning, like, okay, we're not even supposed to be drinking still water, that probably means your body should be in motion. Your body's not built to just be still either. And that's why like it came through with all of the water where with the fruit, like I've been doing that because I do feel like I get more water from the fruit. The hydration, oh same. And when he said that, I was like, because I be dehydrated sometimes drinking bottled water and stuff. Because it is, I think that's what it does. Like for me, when I drink coconut water, when I make tea, but I'll do a whole bunch of fruit, I feel more hydrated than when I've then drank 5 or 6 bottles a day. It's like what? Same. And then the water makes me I feel more full, like sluggish. And like you can slosh it around, kind of like drown. Yeah. because the cells can become oversaturated with water,
Hmm.
and then
Flood your body.
ain't that something
Yeah.
crazy?
But that's how all of this starts and grows, because those initial programmings, they got y'all to believe in magic isn't real. So now when somebody like us comes and says like, "Yo, that person has you in a trance," they're like, "Magic? That's not real." You know what I mean? Yo, shadow work. Where? Go what? But they got you believing already initially fundamentally magic is some Disney Channel shit. You feel what I mean? That's white magic. They don't want to talk about that. They'll talk about black magic and magic.
And they pull it
That's
out.
white
And they
magic.
pull it out in Disney because one of the things, the first things that we went over. Hey, what's up, Mike? Michael Frost on.
Hey.
But one of the things we went over in the first, I want to say the first week of our shadow class was about the one cartoon Tiana.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog, yeah. And he talked about how, like, yeah, that's a real deity. Like, these are real names that they're given,
Yeah,
and real, and they work a certain way, but they didn't use it to dumb it down in a cartoon so that we never believe that it's really real.
yeah,
We never believe in that storyline. And meanwhile, these storylines, we're getting fed the same storyline, meaning that you have to believe this type of way, you got to believe you came from this type of lineage, only to know that, guess what, some of us can count back at least 6 generations. Some
yeah,
people can actually count back 6 generations and be
yeah,
like, no, I actually came from these people here,
yeah.
and name some people off. And but having a certain doctrine keeps you away from honoring people that you actually came from. And what we
Mm,
know about energy, this is scientifically proven, it's universal, is that it never dies.
mm,
Energy never dies. If we don't understand energy in a way of spirit or our being
yeah.
or vibration or just how we move and operate. Um,
And I feel like even that works dually. When you become doubtful, it's easy to not believe anything. And once you start doing the magic, it's easy to see how all these things are connected. Once you understand energy never dies, you'll see why some people believe the universe is ever expanding. It's still growing and writing itself.
and that child, going back to childhood, will help them do that too. Going back to your childhood will help you remember, like, how creative your mind was, and maybe somebody tore down your spirit, which is why I really encourage my clients to be mindful of how they speak to their children,
Yeah,
because you can say something in one moment and tear that child's spirit down, and it can take them years, decades to recover from the one thing you stole from them by saying, "Oh, you ain't gonna never do that. What you gonna look? What you look? What you think you about to do?
exactly.
You about to be writing some books? You ain't about to be doing that. Sit down. Sit down. Well, I'll tell you what you about to do. You about to clean up. What you about to do? You ain't about to be writing no books. Go out. You about to
Yeah.
do
And we'll
something
do
different
that
now."
shit and justify it. Like, oh, it don't bother him. How you know?
Yeah.
Did you ask him?
Right.
He's crying.
Exactly.
Like, you sure?
And how do y'all babies? Yo, these children need 400. Like, no, we
Yeah,
need more than 400 a
yeah,
day. We're supposed to have more than 10. Like,
yeah.
I want to say it was. I want to say it was a lot.
So start small at 4. If you had
I
0,
said 10. Yeah, if you're
start
at zero,
small.
start at 4. Yeah, four to 10 to get you in. But and be intentional about it. And if you feel yucky or feel like, because even my mom now, when I get close to her next, she be like, don't do
Yeah,
that. I'm
yeah,
like, what's the reason why you not
yeah.
receiving all this love? Let's get this love in, honey. Let me get you this love in.
And pay attention to your dynamic with the people you naturally hug and the ones you don't. Pay attention to their mood and energy levels as well.
Yeah.
Because as we're on this journey, this is something we have to start becoming aware of. As you grow your energy, people are going to start feeling that and being allowing themselves to be affected by your energy. And if you can't sort through that, you're going to start blaming yourself. You're going to start feel like, man, I'm the dark cloud. You know what I mean? I'm the dark horse. I'm the black sheep. All the stuff they called us
Yeah, they say now.
harmlessly, but it sting a little bit on the back end.
Especially when you're trying to believe in yourself to be the person that you were created to be. It can be challenging when you're replaying those words and you don't go back and say, who said what?
Yeah,
And let me correct. So if I, like, again, I started this session off saying, that you got to be your hero. You got to go back there and save the little you, the little girl, the little boy that didn't get whatever it is that you needed. You got to become that. You got to
Yeah.
give them that. You deserve that.
Cause you'll learn that discernment that you have to have for your children and that unconditional love, and that will start help building that excitement back again. You know what I mean? And being present is the only way you can do that. Like I had an incident with my daughter the other day, and this is where we gotta pick and choose our battles. But she's a person who doesn't have a problem with having fun at someone else's expense. But God forbid you making fun of her. You dig? So she was making fun of the youngest. So she had blue lips from some popsicles she had ate. So I started just talking about her lips and shit and making jokes and stuff. So she started crying. Yeah, and she didn't even want me to like be bothered. She's on some like, don't touch me, leave me alone. So I had to soothe her and just tell her like, like that's sorry. Like if I hurt your feelings, I was playing. But if you don't like to play like that, I won't play like that with you. But you can't play with other people like this either. If you can't sit and take them jokes, I love you. But if you can't take them jokes, you shouldn't be dishing them. You shouldn't be laughing at other people when they getting joked about. Like, let this be a lesson.
Yeah.
But in this moment right now, you know what I mean? Like, regardless of the fact, like, I was wrong and I apologize. I'm a chill. You dig? So these are the nuances. And it's always funny when you got hella kids because the other ones just be quiet as hell watching. Like, how this about, is he about to kill her? Like, oh no, dad about to go away. Like, he look mad.
Don't do it. Don't do it, sis. Don't trust it.
And then that is the 85% that I focus on most of the nonverbal communication. That is communicating to the other kids too. Like even when you think I'm upset, I still love you. And I'm not gonna come at you like I'm upset at you. I'm not gonna come at you like a person on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I had to learn to develop. People don't get that. They think we got on this healing journey and then it dropped us off somewhere. I gotta self check and tell myself to play nice 100 times a day. You hear what I'm saying? Play nice, bro. Like, God, you ain't had to text that like that, bro. Delete that. You feel me? I self check all the time because I live so naturally. I allow myself to just be reckless sometimes, and I think on the back end, this is where all these things aren't getting addressed. I think everyone's entitled to a meltdown. I don't think it should burn the town down, but I think everyone's entitled to a meltdown.
And then too, right? Because at the end of the day, they still gonna have to go through these same steps we're talking about. Because you're gonna still have to remember what set you off.
Yeah.
What did you have that you put aside so long and let it fester up that now you like ready to pop off at everybody? You know what I'm saying? What? So
they like who pissed Sandra off?
Right. Right. Once you have that conversation with yourself and you go through that, then you follow those same steps. Okay, well, is there something I could have done different?
Yeah.
Could I showed up for myself a little bit better? Is there something I need to say to this person the next time I'm in their space, or to be prepared to say that way if they're used to treating me or doing this a certain way? So there's still, again, the remembrance is what we're talking about today. Yeah. In terms of at every stage of your life, you're going to have to take information and situations that you've been involved with to make better situations and the same for you in the future.
Yeah.
Everything has to come forward. And so, even when it comes to, you said something about soliciting. So I even think about children.
Yep.
Or it's normally challenging for them after a certain age to solicit affection from their parents because now, mind you, they're growing within their bodies.
Yeah.
They have changes. So even the way I hug you is like, oh, like,
yeah.
You a big nigga now.
My son still will jump in my lap.
But
and they big.
But even for that, like it's like, unless you know the person's journey, you don't know why they're not that close to their parents.
Yeah.
Or why they don't have that type of affection. So, but also, I guess the more you tap into yourself, you'll feel what others need around you. You'll be in tune with children, with your elders, with your partners, with your everything, your friendships. You'll be more in tune with, me and my brother ain't never hugged before.
Yeah.
I need to give him a hug.
Yeah.
Next time I see him or next time to leave or whatever, because hugs are powerful. They do so much for mental health naturally and putting you back in that joyous state. So
yeah. They got the ability to lift someone up.
Yeah, exactly. It's activating exactly what needs to be activated to get what you need to get.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is another connection as far as you was making and what we were saying. How you doing? Hold on, y'all.
Yeah. Yes. How can I help you? I'm sorry.
It's I might get the wrong door.
Yes. Who you looking for? Who?
Who you looking for? You might be at the wrong door. Wrong door? Yeah.
Hey, you about to have a special guest?
Listen, come on in, huh?
I saw him looking.
But yeah, but yeah, I truly believe this starts to become the connection to our children and our childhood, and we start to serve both at the same time, and I think sometimes that is the disconnection. The look, cause I do the same thing, like everything we talk, the shit we talk is through experience. You know what I mean? The things I went out without in childhood when I get to my kids is bittersweet every time. It's that moment of I wish and then I gotta check myself. This is for them.
Yes.
You dig what I'm saying? So we have to make those connections.
Like you would be saying like, oh,
in my head, like this would have been nice.
My parents, oh yeah, okay. But see, and that's why you gotta have a conversation with yourself because then now you're letting yourself and them off the hook. So now it's not a negative conversation to say one and up on your children type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that starts to put you in a place with sometimes these are the silver linings. When you can't understand how to operate in that situation, sometimes you have to manipulate it. And we don't do that enough with communication. We'll see how someone feels and then they'll just go drink a Pepsi. But how many times have you went up to them like, look, it seems like your energy is a little off. Is it something I said or did? Or is there anything I can do for you? You okay? You good? You know what I mean? And that can change somebody's whole mood and whole day. And they might not even say nothing to you, but thank you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Thanks for checking on me. Those things go so far, but again, we're using those as reactions. We only do that once we feel like they done with us. Now you got all the questions in the world. You should have been asking through the duration of y'all's journey, of y'all's life. You know what I mean? So start making that opportunity even with your kids. Like, look, I know we haven't talked today. Is there anything interesting you got going on in your life? That's simple.
Solicit from them, and not in a way of, "Hey, I'm parent, I'm over you, I'm over."
Yeah, I gotta check on you, so I'm here. Like, nah.
Like a doctor.
Yeah.
Like a little preventive checkup. No, do you want to be my parent or don't you, bro? Do you?
Like it's a burden.
DJ Frost said a lot of people play tough, like they too old for a hug, and this is very true. Yeah. Which is why you just gotta go.
Take it, yeah.
Gotta get them up in there, like literally just giving, and just giving.
And that's that staple. That's how you can be the one person putting it in the world. Somebody what you think is going on and who you think is watching is not important. What's important is who you not aware of who is watching. So that one time you chose to hug your brother before y'all left and you knew they was about to get deployed, you knew they was starting a new job, you knew they just came to you and said, look, I'm married and I love it, but I'm tired and I'm stressed. And you just give them a hug. You don't have to say nothing. You know what I mean? I actually teach people that through psychology, especially when, like, for example, when I lost my son, like, sometimes the best thing to say is nothing. But saying, you know what I'm feeling, and you ain't never been in that position is the worst thing that you can say.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Sometimes just giving that person a hug, that's all you gotta say.
I don't even want. So this is so crazy, right?
I hate coming to people like that. Like, yeah, I know what you're going through. Like, no, I don't.
Because I deal with loss a different way or death a different way.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm always um tiptoeing around that space because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to take somebody further than where they already are. Mm-hmm. So that is a challenge for me. It's something that I've been working on for years in terms of how to console somebody and how to just be there. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, you ain't gotta say nothing. Yeah. Just when people are going through that type of grief, and even not necessarily loss of a person or a child or anything like that, but any loss of a relationship, home, job, money, anything. Sometimes just being present.
Yes.
Is billions of worth of energy than having a ready lineup and a scripture and you know.
Yeah, and it starts though, and I feel like people get to that impasse, getting stuck in between reminiscing and being present, is because you don't really know that person. You dig? And when my homies came to me, like Lil Tay Tay got shot up, like I know, bro, I'm gonna turn the Madden on, I'm gonna turn some music on. We might twist one, we might eat something. I know him. I know what you want to do right now. I know what you might not admit you feeling right now. And I know how to, like you said, tiptoe around that, and you know what I mean. And that's the responsibility you have in these groups. Because as more of your friends come in, I'm looking at them at the door, like, yeah, no jokes about it. You feel me? Like, bro, yeah. And I see them coming in ready to say something too. I'm like, position in life too. Like, okay, like it's heavy in here. Just chill. Look, I do be apologetic about certain things, but it's like, okay, people sometimes gonna have to hear what they need to hear because they may need to have heard it. That's true. That's true. That's a healer's plight. You can't save everybody. You cannot. And you're not always at work either. Sometimes you gotta clock out. Yay! Sometimes I'm out here doing me right now. I am, and then I get the call. Like I feel like my toes out. I ain't at work. Right. First work is made me already live a life of being on call for other people. So not only for my children but for the community. Yeah. So my phone number has stayed the same. My phone number has been the same for 2002, 2003. Yeah. For that purpose, because everybody that I've connected with over the years, at some point have been some type of monumental spasm. Like they just really touched me in so many ways. And I think that's why, for me, the field you're in and all of that is so powerful. It's something we've talked about before, but there's fault and there's responsibility. Not everything you're at fault for, you'll be responsible for. So you can mix and match them, different ways. But once you learn CPR, you are responsible for someone who needs CPR. Right. You get what I'm saying? I think that's why people stay away from these continue ed and trainings, because you're gonna have to use it. You dig? But also, this is why I learned in so many different fields. I brought it up before on the show as far as being a lifeguard, and they'll teach you when you out there saving somebody, if they're resisting, let them go. Like, save yourself. Wow. Don't drown trying to save nobody, especially when they trying to kick and get away from you, which is the best way to drown. Wow. Yeah. I was a lifeguard for a summer. Because I had to get over my fear of swimming. I almost drowned when I was a kid. A lot of people didn't know that I was 5. I was in the hospital a couple of weeks. And buddy, one of his friends, they had, niggas, but they had a non-regulation pool in his backyard. So pools in the backyard, I think, only supposed to go up to 9 feet at most. He had a 12-foot pool. So he had one of the courts on the pool where you could fish the ball out. Here I am, 5, trying to fish it out, shoot it, fell right in. So they had to pump me and stuff. I only thing I remember from that situation, it was a closet full of Jello. I could only eat Jello and pudding and stuff. And yeah, it was in the newspaper and everything. My brother had to go, and he's only 2 years older than me, so he was like 7. He had to go get the dude, and when they see me, I was just at the bottom of the pool, like unresponsive. So when I came to, all I remember is being in the hospital. And then when I got older, I had trauma with getting in the shower, with drinking water, with swimming. That fear had stayed with me. So when I was 10, I went to the local rec to learn how to swim. And I chickened out. I didn't get in the pool the whole summer. This wasn't in Ohio. Oh, okay. So I didn't go, you feel me, to the local pool all summer. So then this next year, this is in Detroit. This is where my uncle, God rest my uncle, who was like my dad. This is when I was with him. So all I was thinking every morning, leading in spring, leading in the summer, was all your friends are swimming, everybody's in the pool. You have to learn how to swim. And I'm terrified because the first lesson they like, just jump in. I'm like, no, we gonna die. Like, what? You supposed to teach us how to swim? I ain't no infant. Just toss them in and they be swimming. I love those videos too, by the way. So I'm like, okay, you got to do it. And I faced my fear. So I jumped in. I learned how to swim that summer. And now here comes fear number 2, which is heights. So I wouldn't get on the diving board. So now next summer, everybody on the diving board. I'm like, I can't keep up with y'all. Like, what's going on? And I didn't realize at the time, but I know now that was the best thing they were doing for me. forcing me to get better, be a part of the group. And sometimes people like me who are loners, it's easy for everyone else. Like, nah, they like being alone over there. But the people I vibe with is they like, nah, bro, come over. Come just look, this what we doing. They got oranges over there. Like, come on, bro, come join the group. You feel me?
And that's so crazy that you say that because the instructor that's over my psychologist that's over my class, he talked about how he was with his aunt for a summer
Mm-hmm.
and how he had to climb the diving board. And one of the things he said all summer he had been jumping in at the bottom. Well, she come and see them perform or whatever, and he was like, "You're going all the way up," and he was like, "No,
No,
I'm
I'm
not."
not.
And he was like, "Your aunt said not to let you come back down, that you going all the way up," and he was
Yeah.
like, and seeing her over there, like, damn.
And we have no shame. I will climb to the top and climb back down and hear y'all talk shit. So, excuse me. Jump, jump. No, excuse me, coming down. Excuse me.
He said he don't remember how it happened, but he said he ended up having to jump. And but it's so crazy
Yeah.
that again, things that are life skills, that are life essential skills that we're supposed to be learning, cooking, swimming, things like that is detrimental because a lot of people may have had and people may have trauma with swimming, not necessarily from even a situation like what Russ just said, but even from the coming out of their mother's womb or being in the womb. You know what I'm saying? They're in water, amniotic fluid for all this time, up to 40 weeks, and they could have had trauma in there that made them not want to go to the water or a bathtub situation. So a lot of these things, again, going back, remembering when can help you move forward. But at the end of the day, regardless of what age you is, I'm still even working on my mama. I got my mama and a friend. Tia, you out there? Tia.
Hey, Tia.
Coming from you, girl. We is coming for
We
you.
getting in the water.
We getting in the water because we're supposed to start in January.
Oh,
Things
sure.
happen in January, but I do have the energy. If y'all want to learn how to swim and you don't know, hit me up.
Yeah.
Because it is essential.
I can swim now too. I learned.
Yeah. Swimming is key. All the kids can they can if they had to they know how to make it. You know what I'm saying, to where they need to make it to, but they're learning, and they have been learning since their youth. Yeah. So starting them the youngest helps to deal with any trauma that was experienced in the womb. Because it's like now we're facing it. We're back in water. We're safe. We're with loved ones. Yeah. We're with our caretaker. They're safe. They're enjoy. They're happy. So it's now you're creating a safe space and joyous, happy memories, and versus what the trauma that they may have experienced their first time in water. Yeah.
And it's to me where I now in my adulthood can see the other side. And the other side was the people saying like the video games and movies were influencing us. When we're traumatized, it does influence us. And water for me equaled death at that time. But again, think about the movies that's out, Deep Blue Sea and hurricanes and tsunamis. And it's all trying to make it seem like the water is the enemy. Or the water's out to get you. Yeah, it's not safe. Megalodon, like we don't know what's at the bottom of the ocean. Titanic. It's all making it seem like the water is not safe. You dig what I'm saying? So when you're traumatized, yeah, that stuff affects you. It's gonna put the fear of death in you. It was my fear of heights. And I kept having that falling dream. And I used to have that teeth falling out dream too all the time. And when I started studying dreams and shit, I started understanding what those things was. You know what I mean? And it was my fear of heights was trickling into my subconscious. I had been so afraid in my consciousness, it trickled even to when my system is on sleep mode. Right. When I should be looking at llamas and ducklings and babies giggling, you dig? You looking at heavy metal and monster trucks and falling out the sky. Yeah, and then when you hit the when you wake up, yeah, that's not pretty. I don't like that. You hit like the ground, literally. Like and when you're in a pleasant dream, you're in a pleasant place. You ease into being awake. Yeah. Someone said, Dre said the pools in the inner city they offer swimming classes as well. This is very true. You got to sign up quick because they go quick. Yeah, yeah, and sports too. They fill up fast now, which is a beautiful thing. But that means we gotta be early. Because I think they do like maybe 2 sets of 2 weeks, 2 or 3 sets of 2 weeks where the swimming classes are free. Okay.
At the city, the inner city ones. And then she also said, even this is going back to something else we said before. She said, don't assume that you know what's going on with your children. Even if you have been in my position in terms of somebody else, you still don't know. You still don't know what I've been through. You still don't know what it is. And
Yeah.
it's very true. This is very,
Yeah.
very true. So we can't assume, because assuming um only makes us be defeated in a situation, because then we
Yes.
never go and get the guts to find out the absolute truth.
Yes, and I feel like assuming lacks love. I feel like a part of love is giving them a space to tell you what's going on. And sometimes how we say things can be reassuring. I see you got a lot, or you feel heavy right now. When you're ready to talk, come talk to me about it. You know what I mean? And when they come to, and if that, you can tell them like, look, you don't even gotta say nothing. Like, just come sit next to me.
Facts.
Just come feel me. And these are things we can be proactive in all these other areas, but it's a love language. It's the one they don't want to tell you about because it's one of the most powerful, is because you can do it in every instance with everything and everybody. You dig? Like, and then you'll stop hating rats. You'll stop hating things that you don't even realize how they protect you or the importance that they serve on the planet.
Listen, that's so direct. Listen, as long as you ain't listen,
Stop sleeping on them, dog.
don't come and squat up in here. Yeah, you free to roam the outside perimeters. Okay, I give you
Right.
full permission to roam the outer parts. And when you get around me, don't run fast. And I've gotten into facing fears that was induced from other people.
Yeah.
It's been easier to be like, oh, it's just a spider. Oh, okay, you can crawl
Yeah.
on my leg.
Right.
How privileged are you to be able to crawl on me? Hello.
Cause I'll be like, bro, I'm Men in Black when I see people squash bugs. Like,
I know. Well, and
like let it outside,
I
dog.
did the other night because I ain't had an energy.
Oh, some bugs gotta die.
Yeah,
See this is why life has duality. It's never saying just do this. It's saying what is the circumstance called for? Like what's going on?
because the spiders y'all can have y'all. They walk up to every corner in the home. They literally can be in every corner because the corners is out the way.
And that's to the animals listening too. You gotta read the room.
Yeah.
If you see I've been having a bad day, you see I came home, couldn't even get the key in the door. Stubbed my toe walking in the door. You think I want to play with you tonight? Like, you think I'm playing right now?
Or and then too, see, that's a growth moment because now, okay, so let's say that's a scenario,
Yeah,
right? On both parts, both both people in that situation have a chance to use their throat chakra
yeah.
and go and get. I used to ask my ex-husband, like, can you come get me? Like, sometimes I'd be so far gone because I didn't gave out to everybody. Like, you come and get me sometimes. Like, come and give me a hug. Come and
That's
give me a
deep.
kiss. Come and bring me a meal. Come bring me some water. Come and get me. Like, I used to say that shit and mean it. Like, yo, I'm out here and I'm far from the mental space I should be operating in, is what I really see that to be saying now. Like, I was on fucking they call that Stepford Wives mode. I was just on go mode where I was just
Yeah,
doing too
yeah.
much for everybody, and then I sit around and be like, I ain't eat, I ain't this, I ain't drink, I ain't sat, wash my face, I ain't done nothing for me, and here everybody else is they happy as fuck.
Shiny and oily and fed.
And I am drained, looking like who did it and why. And so yeah, I used to ask like, "Yo, just come and get me." But even now, just the other day, I told him like, you gotta go get her. Like,
Yeah.
I I told you this, like, you got two daughters that you're raising. Sometimes they need you to come and get them. Sometimes they're so in pleasing everybody else in the conversations and all this other stuff that you can just like your stature alone. This is a message for the men and for mothers, people who are towering over other people or people who are a little bit above whoever else they're governing or in the space of. Hugging, a simple hug, a gentle gesture of even your hand, placing your hand on someone, on your
Mm-hmm.
back, helping them relieve any tension or stress that they're carrying. That simple thing is life changing.
Mm-hmm.
Kissing somebody on the cheek or on the forehead or the head or um, life changing.
Mm-hmm.
So these are ways that we can show up and go and get someone while we are traveling it back and healing self and while we're gaining joy and releasing shit. Okay, that was something I was still holding to. Let me release that because The more you go and research and be your hero
Yeah.
through all stages of your life, the more you can feel when a person needs a hug. You can feel when your children need.
Mm.
Oh, right now
Yeah.
they need me to play on the video game with them. Oh, right now they need
Mm.
to, they need to come and help me make this meal. They need to put their hands to work because they mind is going through something they
Right.
ain't ready to talk about. And having them in the kitchen will be the perfect opportunity
Yeah.
for them to start talking about shit.
And they might need silence because you've been talking too
Or
much.
right, or you say like, hey, yeah, maybe you turn off the Wi-Fi box. I used to do that shit. Right,
Yeah.
man, we had the Wi-Fi box off forever. Just to reset all the okay, slamming doors, you stumping, you crying. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Flip the
Let's
switch
try
on
something
everybody.
new.
Let's reset. Let's reset for a second. And y'all can
Yeah.
still be in your own space and be in your own mental space, but as far as the energy that's coming in, controlling shit and manipulate shit, we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna put a pause to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna put some music on. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna do my shit that I have to do to settle me because they're all attached to me. Everybody's in my space, all attached to me. So I do some shit that brings me joy. Like, okay, let me not stoop to their little levels, these little children. Let me not let them take me there.
Yeah. And that's the grace that you can learn to give your children and start understanding how to handle situations differently, but you're going in eager to handle situations differently. You know what I mean? And what you said as far as the hugs, like that just goes to show people are close and they're on their way. We just have a lot more work to do. We have to make healing synonymous with life. You understand when you see someone in the street struggling with groceries and they drop something to help them pick it up. You understand in the gym that maybe you want to spot your partner while they're lifting something heavy. But
Exactly.
why don't we think to do that in everyday life?
With everybody we encounter, there's something. You're right. There's a spot me. There's a good game. All of these other things that's needed with everybody that we're encountering. And on top of that, even yourself, you're still needing these things.
Yep.
So you're given opportunities to give them out because you still need hugs.
Yeah.
You still need somebody to tell you, yo, you did a good job with that. I like the way you did X, Y, and Z, or appreciate your talent, or thank you for sharing, or whatever big ups.
Yeah.
Good meal, good whatever. You still need what you need, but if you don't have people filtering in where you're pointing to, then they're not gonna be able to pour into you. But we still
Yeah.
all have needs, so
Yeah.
you got to keep the door open because opportunities are standing there for you to connect.
Yeah, they are. And the first connection, like you were saying, is inward. What I hear and what I sense in those situations is you're afraid to love yourself. And it's because it's easy to give something away because it feels charitable. And it's hard to keep something for yourself because it feels selfish.
Yeah. And
You're afraid to love yourself because it feels so, you dig? Like, and it is gonna be selfish sometimes.
yeah, on
Deal
all
with it.
levels. On all levels. Shit, like when I think about Tyreek, Tyreek will be 24 this year.
uh
So before I got married, my whole life was about him. And even then, even after I got married, I can remember saying he's in that AAU, or no, not the A. It was the AAU. What's the other one? The other sports traveling.
Hey, you all I know.
Well, USF, USA
Oh, football?
track.
Oh, track.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
USA track and field. That's what it was. So, but my every summer since this dude was like 5 years old was committed to taking traveling around fucking Ohio, Kentucky, PA, Michigan, just to take him from run track.
Full time job.
My whole summer was just that, and I still had to work, like literally. So I was
Mm-mm.
still working while I
Okay.
was making this happen for year after year. And finally, when he got into high school, I was like, oh,
And did those teams cost?
yeah, they cost.
Woo. So you was doing it full circle.
Yes, and I didn't realize that, right? And that's why it's important to learn these things at any moment that you can. You gotta stop and be like, okay, wait a minute. I need to make sure I set systems in place that not only I show up for myself, but the people that I'm involved with also not only are showing up for themselves, but they're also showing up for me.
Yeah, and if you look close enough and you look long enough, you'll start to see how you're still doing what's best for them. You're no good to them showing up wore out and drained and exhausted and stressed and feeling depleted and feeling defeated and negative. You know what I mean?
Right.
So sometimes the best thing you can do for people is working on yourself because now you're not becoming a problem in your life. That's why I tell people you don't always have to add value, just don't take nothing out.
Mm,
You dig?
that's deep.
You ain't gotta clean up. Just don't make a mess.
Listen, y'all, this has been a good chat, yo.
Yeah.
This has been a great one. Even with the technology
Listen.
being technical and
And
shit.
they've been in and out rocking with us on a soft Tuesday
Hey,
in
we
the middle of
appreciate
y'all
that.
day.
We appreciate that. We're
Yeah.
ear hustling. Get this knowledge and pass it on to your loved ones because it's lit over here. You understand? We healing all 2024, literally.
Hey, this what we do. So I'm gonna wrap up and I'm gonna let you send us home.
Okay, yeah.
Um, y'all see the ticker at the bottom. We every Sunday with it. 11 to 1. I don't I'm we've been doing this so long now, I don't wanna hear no excuses. If you can't make it, tell us next Sunday. If you can't make it, just show up. We don't want
Just
to hear
show up.
nothing.
You ain't even have to register.
Just
You
come
ain't even
on.
have to. Just show up.
You feel
You
me?
ain't even
Cause
got to bring a mat. We got mats for you.
because we're healing the community, and we say that in a sense to so y'all fully understand we're healing as well. We have to get up and show up every day too, that we're going to ask y'all to show up. So what we're saying is, okay, now we took the initiative, we chose to show y'all how to love yourself. Now y'all got to do the work. Now apply everything you're seeing, and I promise you, you're going to stop looking at the world so judgmentally. You're going to stop looking at your life so judgmentally. You're going to stop looking at the calendar thinking you're running out of time. And you're going to
Hey,
stop looking at your loved ones thinking they're out to get you. Everything will
hey.
align with you, but you still have to do the work when it
We
aligns.
have to do the
You
work.
still got to do the work. You dig? So that's what I have for reminiscing. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't get stuck in the future. Live for the present. Live in the moment, but create a life, not just a past. Create a life that you are proud of. Create a life that you want to share with people.
I
You
love that.
dig?
I love
I
that.
love y'all.
Hey, it's lit over here. Man, just chase joy. Make joy the goal. Make joy the thing to attain in everything you do. And I promise you what, when you cry, you'll be smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And your tears will no longer be associated with something negative that happened, but something that you this unbelievable. It's like the wildest dreams. It's like you finally realize, oh wow, it's me. You did all of this for me. Like I could have been. Y'all could be the only ones that exist. I could be the only one that exists. And every great thing that's happening is because of me. Every great thing that's happening is because of you. Like we have to get that serious about our healing and what we deserve out of this human experience, that we're actually chasing it. Like I am chasing joy, so I'm gonna eat some fruit because I know the fruit makes me feel good. I am chasing joy, so I'm gonna let that shit go because the situation don't serve me. The people may not serve me. The job is coming to be so much of a negative nuisance. I might have to let it go.
Mm.
And I'm not condoning nobody walking away. I'm condoning you to chase joy, right? Things that are interrupting that, a lot of those things are going to be washed away and gone. And some things you won't even have to do. You just have to really speak and believe that I deserve joy in my job. I deserve joy in my home with my children, with my food, with my partner, my business. You just going to start seeking in everything. So when you start linking up with people, it's going to be joyous moments. Even if y'all talking about bullshit, it's going to be joy. So that's my message to y'all. I hope I see y'all on Sunday because we did decide on some wraps. We're going to do wraps and lemonade for a Sunday. And again, even if you haven't registered, show up because we would love to see you. That's all I got.
Peace, y'all.
Reminiscent.